advocates are pressing lawmakers with the message that gun violence must end. Political science professor Jason Johnson joins me now. Jason, I'm sure, like all lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, they want gun violence to stop, the negative stuff to stop. But there are two sides to this whole thing. But the mass shootings involving teens, it has lawmakers really rethinking the gun policies. Why is there such pushback?
Well, because you have a lot of people in America who are very, very concerned that any sort of government intrusion into their lives is taking us down a slippery slope. It'll start with guns, and then it'll control whether you can get soda and then what kind of cars you can buy. So that's what the NRA is really concerned about. There's also the fact that their pockets are being lined by the gun industry, and therefore they want to protect the people who are paying the money. So there's a financial and a legal element.
Somebody who's been very vocal about gun control is shooting victim Gabby Gifford. She was at a highlight at this week's gun control hearing, and here's what she said on Capitol Hill. Listen.
You must act. Be bold, be courageous. Americans are counting on you.
Now, do you think her emotional testimony is going to make an impact?
Unfortunately not. You know, when she was shot, it didn't make that much of an impact. If you really think about it, it was almost 2 years ago when Gabrielle Gifford was shot, and it's just now, after mass shootings, in particular in Sandy Hook, that we're beginning to see the federal government get involved in this process. So unfortunately, I don't think even the shooting of one of their colleagues in her job was not enough to move members of Congress. But children dying apparently is enough.
You make an interesting point there. And President Obama, he's planning to push his anti-gun violence proposals tomorrow in Minnesota. There's this photo that just came out we've been showing this morning of him skeet shooting. It happened 2 days after the White House released that photo. Does this help or hurt the president, do you think?
It looks really forced. It reminds me of when Dukakis was riding around in a tank. You know, I mean, it looks really forced and unnecessary.
You think it's a photo op?
Yeah, it's a photo op, and he doesn't need to do this. Look, the fact of the matter is, even gun owners, even Gabrielle Gifford's husband is like, look, we should close the loophole for gun shows. There's no problem in making sure that people have to train before they buy guns. Most Americans believe in reasonable gun control. It is just the people who are being funded by the gun industry who are standing against this, and that's what needs to change.
And what about background checks for everyone, even people at gun shows trying to buy that, because there's a loophole there right now. Is that something that's going to pass easily, do you think?
I don't think it's going to pass easily, because the problem is it's the regulation. Think about it. Barack Obama just appointed the head to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division after the Republicans had been holding up that appointment for so many years. So it's going to be hard to enforce things like background checks, but what you can do is say, look, we're going to close these loopholes, so if anyone does get caught, they can be arrested.
All right, Jason Johnson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, what do you